Matt, good to see you. This is an important video for anyone who's on a fixed income. We're going to talk through a few smart strategies to save money. The cost of living has rapidly increased in the past few years. And for most people, our income has barely kept pace, which becomes increasingly difficult for people who are living on a fixed income. So, what are some strategies to save money on property taxes?
Many states, like my state, Washington State, have special options for people that are age 60 or over to where they can either get a reduction in their property taxes or a deferral in their property taxes. So if you can do the deferral, then after the second spouse was to pass, then the taxes would get paid out of the estate. So it doesn't affect you while you're living. But of course, we prefer the reduction. So check with your state. In our state, it's if you're over age 60, and there are some income requirements, but doesn't hurt to try.
Okay, so now I want to ask about the increasing cost of insurance premiums. This is something you specialize in, Matt. So you know this pain.
I do. It's been a nightmare. It seems
Yeah.
like every week I get an email from a carrier and it says, as you know, it's been a hard market. All those other companies have raised rates. Well, now we are too.
Yeah.
It's been a hard market for many reasons. But what you can do is shop out your auto and home insurance. Use a broker. And there's nothing wrong with using a captive company. There's great companies out there, but get it shopped out. We don't recommend shopping it out every year because that affects your insurance score. So insurance score would be like your credit rating tied to your claim activity, tied to how loyal you are to that current company. But it doesn't hurt to get a free quote and see what you can do. Raise your deductible. One other tidbit on that is we're encouraging people, and I know this is going to hurt, we're encouraging people not to turn in every little nickel and dime claim because some carriers, if you have one claim, no matter how small, they're not going to quote you. And that could be a carrier that would save you a lot of money.
hmm So, what about other necessary expenses like groceries? I just hate looking at the receipt when I come home from the grocery store these
And
days.
it's been crazy for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are, what you make, it affects everybody. For me, personal rule, and I do fail at this, don't go to Costco when you're hungry, right? But beyond that, I stress to people that there's no shame in doing anything and everything that you can do to save money on your grocery costs. I go home every night. There's one church I pass every week. They're giving away food, and it's good quality food. Nothing wrong with that. If you qualify for food stamps, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't be too proud, to not get some help, especially when it saves your cash flow, especially when you're in a situation where you're negative cash flow. So
Mhm.
do everything you can do. Use your coupons, do whatever you can do to save some money.
Right, right. You're also very well versed on some special benefits for veterans.
Yes. So back in 2022, there was a PACT Act, PACT Act, the PACT Act of 2022, basically expanded the ability to get approved for some benefits for veterans, and
Mhm.
especially if you were exposed to any type of chemical. But what they've done is included people that stayed at home the whole time. So maybe you weren't abroad. I have a client that called me up and told me about it. And he said, Matt, we can turn off our income from our IRA because we got it approved. And not just for him, but for his wife. And it even goes up to people that were in war in modern days. So
Mm,
see what you can do whatever you can do to increase your income.
right. And last, of course, invest wisely. In retirement, it is crucial to strike that balance between preserving capital and generating sufficient returns to combat inflation. And this is where working with a financial advisor can really help.
Yes, we want to balance beating inflation. Again, if we hear inflation is 3%, it's probably more like 6% in real world.
Mhm.
We got to make sure that your safe money is at least keeping pace with inflation. At the same time, everyone needs a growth bucket. You have to have a little bit of money that's set aside that it can go up and it can go down. And over time, we know the S&P is going to average 8 to 10% over a 20-year period.
Matt, it's helpful to talk this through because clearly some of these strategies include a little bit of digging, right, to make sure that we're aware of everything that we rightfully deserve as veterans or any benefits otherwise. So, Matt, if somebody would like your help to talk through these strategies, what's the best way to reach you?
Call the office and get on the calendar. I'll give you all the time in the world, 425-256-3105.
All right, perfect. Matt, again, thanks so much for your help today. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Aaron.